Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. It's currently 8:30 p.m. and I thought I would play with makeup before I take it all off and shower. For today's video, I actually was inspired by the look that I found on Pinterest. So I decided to film it and recreate this makeup look, but this is what it looks like. It's just like a nice sky blue shadow with a little bit of like a warm brown, and I found the perfect palette to recreate that look, and I will be using the Jeffree Star Thirsty eyeshadow palette. I purchased this a while ago and I have not really used this eyeshadow that much except for this shade right here, which is the perfect all over the lid shade, and a little bit of this shade right here because I find that's a little bit more muted and neutral. The rest of the transition shade are a little bit too warm for my liking, and for everyday I don't really gravitate towards that, but nonetheless it would be a fun, you know, chatty get ready. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video. I've already primed my face with a facial moisturizer, and I am sorry for my mop today. I just have to put it up because it's getting in the way. I am also currently testing out the Carmela light again because I have not really used this ring light thing for quite some time. So I thought I would put this to the test, and so far it's doing a decent job. I tinted my brows yesterday with a brow tint, or a beard dye rather, and it turned out to be alright. Obviously the shape is a little bit wonky because I don't touch my brow shape. I just don't like to fiddle with them because I tend to over pluck, and I don't want to over pluck my brows because I had a really bad brow situation before I started going to the brow salon that I started going to. But then again, with all the lockdown drama, can't really go anywhere, so I decided I'll just do it myself. So that's the outcome. I'm not actually going to set my lids for this look. I am going straight to this shade called Subtle, so that's more of a neutral taupey brown. Mind you, it still pulls a little bit of warmth against my skin tone, so I'm just going to use that as an all over transition. So we have that nice fade on the outside. I've been having one of those really awful days where you just hate everyone, and every little negativity that you feel, it kind of just like triggers you. And I had a breakdown. I guess because I was overwhelmed with the amount of negativity that I walked into, and the fact that, you know, no one wants to back down. It's a whole nother story. But anyway, these things happen, so I just went home and let it all go. I think it was sky blue. It was more the blue, so I'm going to use this blue shade right here. I'm not sure if you could see that, but that shade right there. And I'm going to use a packing brush to pack the colors on the inner part of my lids. So I didn't really set the concealer that I have applied, so that should be good. I feel like the shade should look a little bit more lighter. Eyeshadow palette from the Jeffree Star Cosmetics is amazing. Like, I love the neutrals, I love the shimmers, and I love the transition and base shades. But when it comes to like bright colors, it appears to look a little bit different against my lid color. Like, I have to really put on a extremely white base for it to show up true to color. Unfortunately, I don't have any shade that is close to white. I only have like very light concealers. Now, like, if I pack it on, it looks fine, but then as I blend it, it kind of oxidizes. Like, as you can see, the edge is already darkening up. But the fact that it shows up on my lid, I always try to get past it, because it's very rare for me to find an eyeshadow that shows up this opaque. I am going to mix a little bit of this shade right here, which is that brow bone shade that's called Patch, just to lighten the shade a little bit because I feel like it's looking a little bit dark. This could totally alter the color of the shadow, but I just needed it to be a little bit pastel. And then I am going to go back to that transition shade that we used before to kind of blend the upper bit. The outer V of this look has got a little bit of warmth to it, so I'm going to go and use the shade called Drizzle. This is a brown, but it pulls off more warm tone against my skin tone, so I'm going to try and blend that. Towards the outer part of my lid. So based on the image, it looks something like that, though you can't really see it that much because of the lighting, but I feel like it's looking a little bit quite close to the image. And I think I'm gonna add a little bit of sparkle to it as well. And I'm gonna use the same brush to kind of just pull it towards the inner corner, but I'm not gonna add any more product. And then I'm going to pop a little bit of Submerge, which is that blue shade, to kind of just touch up. So looking at the photo, I feel like there's a little bit of sparkle. I think I'm going to pick up this shade called Filthy Rich, which is that one there, with my finger and kind of just dab it here where the brown and the blue meets, and then blend it out. And I think I will stop there because I don't want to fiddle with it more, but it just added a little bit of sparkle on the lid. Like if I turn my head around, there's like a hint of gold. I am going to use a stick foundation today, and this is from ColourPop. This is the No Filter Stick Foundation. I love this foundation for like a quick fix. If I'm too lazy to think about what foundation to use, I gravitate towards this because you just swipe it and go. I used a beauty sponge to blend the product. I kind of just swipe and pounce to get the coverage. And the coverage is amazing. You could build it up from medium to full coverage. I'm using the shade medium 1110, which is a little bit lighter than my skin tone, but we could fix that with a little bit of bronzer. It's strange because I thought winter will give me a little bit of a lighter complexion, but I'm still pretty tan. Like if you can see my face to my neck. Concealer today, I am going to use the same concealer as we used to prime, and this is the Revolution Supersize Concealer. I love this concealer for looks like this because it instantly brightens the eye and it gives me a decent coverage. I have not used this product for a long time, but we are going to jump and use the RIMMEL Insta Contour Stick, and I think this is in the shade Dark. They have medium, light, dark. I picked up dark because medium was looking a little bit too light and neutral for my liking, and this one is just a perfect warm tone shade for my complexion. And it comes with a highlighter, which I sometimes use but not all the time. This is such a nice affordable contour product. Setting my face, I'm going to use the ColourPop Blue Setting Powder, and I'm just trying to use this powder up really. I took out the sifter that it comes with, and honestly it makes it a lot easier to pick up the product. I should do that to all my translucent powder, because you don't have to tip into the lid to get the product, and also that causes more mess rather than just having it open and just dipping your sponge. For bronzer today, I'm just gonna quickly bronze using the MAC Give Me Sun because my skin is looking a little bit pale, so this adds a nice warmth to the skin, and I typically use this to balance out the complexion, because sometimes I would get products that are a little bit too pale, so this just adds a little bit of color back to my face without being too much. And I've used this for a long time, and this is originally a powder, a face powder, but I got the darker shade, so I like to use that to bronze. For blush, I'm jumping into using the cream to powder blush, and this is from Maybelline. This is in the shade Flirty Pink, and this is what it looks like. I like to use a stippling brush because it allows me to disperse the product without being too heavy, and I might go for a little bit of a peachy look. And you could use this for lips as well. I personally have not tried. Maybe in the future, we'll find out. For lower lash line, I'm just gonna stick with one shade. So I'm going to use the darker shade that we use, which is this one right here, and pop that all over the lower lash line. I might add a little bit of blue at the bottom just to tie the top in. It didn't have any in the photo, but I find that it will look a little bit appropriate to tie in the look. For the inner corner highlight, I am going to use a highlighter. So I'm going to pop and use the Anastasia Beverly Hills loose highlighter in the shade So Hollywood. Pop that in the inner corner. This is a little bit too golden compared to what she has on the photo. I think I much prefer this shade rather than the white that she had on. And I am going to use the same product to highlight. I'm really bad at this chatty get ready because once I start applying my makeup, I always lose track of what I'm about to say. I'm just gonna quickly apply my mascara. I'm gonna load up the mascara for this look, since we're not applying any false lashes. For lips today, I'm gonna go super nude. So I'm going to apply this Gosh lipstick that I have, and this one is in the shade 146. I like this because it's creamy. At the same time, it gives me the perfect nude that I needed. And here is my final makeup look. I know this look looks like a mess, but I did really try, and I actually quite like how it turned out. It's a little bit darker than the photo, but I think it's because of the flash that it made it lighter. But yeah, what do you guys think? Please let me know down below what you do when you're upset, if you're having a breakdown. I would love to know, and I would love to get tips and tricks from you guys. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates. I have a quarantine series of makeup in my YouTube channel, and it has its own playlist, so please do check it out, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.